Hello, so I'm going to describe how to keep grades in Moodle. So I'm going to describe my personal method. It may not be the best method, but I find it to be really simplistic and it works really well for me, especially in regard to exporting this to Excel because I like to work with Excel. But there's another way that you can do it as well too, which I will include a link in the description to another tutorial of a different way. This is a more complete Moodle way, but I'll include that in the description. So my personal way is when I set up my course, I have various assessment items. For example, here I have assignment, another assignment, and midterm projects, etc. And these are all made using this assignment activity there. Okay, but basically anything with assessment can work. And what happens when I do that is that it generates grades here in the gradebook. Okay, so when you go in the gradebook, you can see that it keeps track of each of those in here. You may need to use your horizontal scroll to see all of them. And it shows the course total, which sometimes gives the students a sense of how they're doing in the course. So even if only like 2 of the things have been graded, then it will show like an average out of 100 based on just those 2. So they kind of get a sense of how they're doing. In order for students to actually see their grades, what you'll have to do is you'll have to modify the settings of the course. So I'm just going back here to the page of the course here, and inside here, go into edit settings of your course. And here in your course settings, you can show the gradebook to students. So that's kind of up to you. I suppose some professors don't want students to see their gradebook, some do. So I think by default that says no. So if you do want your students to see their gradebook, change that to yes. Okay, so back to my system. What I do when I set up an assignment, so let's just go into assignment submission 1. So when I give an assignment, I consider the weight of the assignment. So for example, my assignments are worth 5% of their final grade. And what I do is I go to the grade here and I actually set the maximum grade to be out of the actual weight. Okay, so my assignments are worth 5%, so I give them a mark out of 5. Okay, so 4 out of 5, 5 out of 5. My projects are worth 10% of their final grade, so I give them a grade out of 10, so 7 out of 10, 9 out of 10, that sort of thing. And the benefit of doing that is that when you calculate your grades later on, you can see all of them here. So a lot of people got 5 out of 5 here. The project out of 10. You can see some people got 10 out of 10. And the benefit of that is later on, when I export this to Excel, all I need to do is just add up all of the assessment items. And if you have made them out of the weight, they should add up to a total of out of 100. So if everybody got, if I had the perfect student, 5 out of 5, 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10, etc., that should add up to 100 in the end. So that's why I do that. I find it very simple to just give a grade out of the weight. That way I can just add up everything and get their grade. Now, the disadvantage of my method is that I don't get certain assessment items. For example, participation. So for example, in this course I give 15 marks for my attendance and participation, but that's not included here. Okay, so what I have to do is I have to actually add that in to my Excel. Okay, also my final exam, I don't actually grade it on here, but my final exam is graded separately. So again, it's not included here. Okay, so I'll have to add that in later on. So what I do once I have all this and it's the end of the course and I'm about to give my final grades, I have to add in the participation in the final exam, is I go here and I export to Excel spreadsheet. Okay, and here you get checkboxes of what you want to include and what you don't. This was just an example, so I don't have to include that. I don't want to include the final exam because that was blank. Okay, I don't want to include the course total because that total was actually not including the participation, not including the final, so I don't need that. Okay, so you can tick off the ones you do want to include. Okay, so once I've downloaded into Excel, this is what you get. You get your list of all your students, so whatever their names are on Moodle. Okay, so I'll enable editing. And what I often do is just kind of clean it up at first, just get rid of the stuff that I don't need. I don't need that stuff. I don't need that. Okay, and you can see that these correspond to the different assignments. So you can see up here, right, there's assignment 5, presentation project, Excel project, etc. And now I would just add a column, for example, participation, and give them a grade. Maybe this person attended all the classes and participated a lot, and then maybe the final exam. And my weighting for the final exam is out of 30. So, and then all you need to do now is to calculate the total, and that's quite easy. You just go here and you sum all of these things. Okay, and here would be the total for this student. Okay, and then to do that for all of the students, I just grab this little corner here, drag it down there, and you can see as I type in the person's participation and final grades, it will calculate that person's totals. This guy didn't do very well. I think he just didn't show up to a lot of the things. Okay, so that's how I keep track of my grades using Moodle with a combination of Microsoft Excel. I find it very easy. It kind of makes sense to me just to see like the weighting and the grade out of the weighting. But I know that some professors like to grade everything out of 100% or some other number, and in which case you might want to check out that link in the description of this video. Also, if you're interested in converting your the final total into a letter grade, I have a separate video regarding that.